Animal health and nutrition are key factors in livestock production. The Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock is implementing several interventions to control livestock diseases and improve animal nutrition. Such interventions include the development of new vaccines, annual immunization programs, stocking and restocking, forage production and preservation, and revamping of rangelands. These interventions are aimed at increasing livestock numbers, consequently improving household income and nutrition. The Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock is implementing the Enhanced Smallholder Livestock Investment Program, eSleep. The program, co-financed by the International Fund for Agriculture Development, IFAD, and the OPEC Fund for International Development, OFID, is aimed at improving livestock production through improved animal health and nutrition. eSleep exhibited at the 7th edition of Agritech Expo held at the Golden Valley Agriculture Research Trust in Chisamba district. The expo was held after a 3-year break due to COVID-19 restrictions. Several new innovations to boost livestock nutrition and health were exhibited. Republican President Hakainde Hichilema, who officiated at the expo, took time to visit the eSleep stand.
So we don't have Rhodes grass? Rhodes grass we do have. We do have it's Rhodes grass. Here we have Sunham.
Which grass is for cattle other than Rhodes grass? I know this.
We have Bracharia, Panicum maxima, Bracharia. This is.
Do you have the Brazilian grass? I'm told there's a Brazilian grass which is really good.
Yes, this one.
Is that perennial?
Yes, it's perennial. Once you plant, you continue cutting. We have it in the field growing as well.
And you can then recommend to farmers, based on their location, soil conditions, which grass will do better.
Yes, we've done a pilot on that, Your Excellency. We now know in Region 1 what type of grasses and legumes grow very well. In Region 2 as well as in Region 3.
Oh, I see what's grass. Very good.
Okay, so Mr. President, before you leave, maybe Mr. President will be here. You remain where you are and you have a photo with the President. So we all move back.
Stay where you are?
Yes. We have 10 minutes.
Various interventions such as animal immunizations and production of nutrient-rich forage varieties are being implemented under eSleep's 2 main components, which are disease control and livestock production. The measures contribute to the mandate of the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock to increase production and productivity in the livestock sector.
As government, in terms of policy, we have looked at disease control. This can be seen as one, by start producing our own vaccine locally. So our institute, the Veterinary Institute, CVRI, we are now producing our local vaccine, which helps to prevent and treat the East Coast fever. This vaccine is produced area specific. So you find that in Eastern, we are producing what is called Katete. That is specifically meant for Eastern. Then we have Southern, Central, and Lusaka province. The ECF is controlled by Chitongo. The Chitongo, these vaccines are being produced locally. This helps us to cut on cost of importing these vaccines into the country. After we have done with the disease control, we now start looking at how do we quickly increase the production. First of all, we look at the easiest and quickest way of increasing production. The first thing is we have to make sure that our farmers are educated by, selecting the right livestock that will quickly give them a platform to settle, such as chickens, such as rabbits, because these are livestock that are manageable within the shortest period, and even increases the income generating activities of the household.
Demonstration plots at eSleep's stand at the expo showcased various legumes and grasses such as sun hemp, cowpeas, velvet beans, panicum, and bracharia. Different forage seeds, livestock vaccines, and forage preservation methods and associated equipment were also displayed.
We're making sure that farmers that lost their animals, we give them animals to start their life again. And then those that have never kept livestock in their life before, we give them livestock to start. We also take them through the management of livestock, that is through training and ensuring that they also do practicals to have a feel of the activities that they are shown during the training. We also ensuring that the livestock they are given also receive improved nutrition. So we are taking these farmers through the process of growing pastures or forages, and these we show them that they should be a type that can ensure they have enough proteins and as well as carbohydrates. So we have legumes and grasses on the menu. So then also we make sure that these are harvested and processed at the right time where they will have enough proteins, carbohydrates, as well as vitamins and minerals. So these are some of the things that we are doing. But as we're carrying out these activities, we do face some challenges, like in terms of livestock, we have challenges of diseases, and there are colleagues who are experts in ensuring that these diseases are controlled.
Shorter rainy seasons and longer dry months attributed to climate change exacerbates the challenge of diminishing grazing lands and shortage of forage. Informed by feedback from its beneficiaries in drought-prone areas, eSleep is testing drought tolerance levels of different grasses.
There's a lot of feedback that comes from farmers. So you find farmers who are in low rainfall areas like Azungula, Southern, Chirutu, who come and ask for grasses. No, I want to grow some pastures or grasses for my animals. So when you look at what is available on the market, or mostly what they can access, you find that most of it would be suited for medium to high rainfall areas. But here is a farmer who comes from a low rainfall and he wants to grow something for his animals. So the ministry is always also looking at what are some of the new technologies that can suit the farmer's challenge. So here where you are, the ministry through the program basically has taken two routes of basically introducing some of the grasses that can perform well in harsh conditions, that can perform well with minimal rainfall as low as 300 millimeters. So there are different species or different grasses that we are trying. We haven't yet given it to the farmers, we have them. And we are trying them and testing them to ensure that what is said about them is actually correct. If we're saying this grass can do if the rainfall as low as 200 millimeters, we're trying them on our breeding centers, we're trying them on our research centers before we give farmers. So even here where we are, we've actually planted just for the sake of showing farmers what is existing and to also get their feedback.
eSleep gives seed to forage growers and seed multipliers, also known as seed growers. There are currently 55 seed growers in the country who multiply seed for different varieties of legumes and grasses. The seed growers were trained in seed production by the Seed Control and Certification Institute, SCCI. They multiply forage seed to make it affordable and accessible by small-scale livestock producers. Forage growers mainly grow it for their animals and sell surplus to fellow livestock farmers.
Programs come and go, but as the program comes, it has to leave an impact on the farmers. So what we did as seed growers, we formed an association which is called the Forage Seed Association of Zambia, which will try to promote and continue growing the seed even after the program ends for e-sleep, so that we can continue providing this seed at affordable prices to the rural community and the small-scale farmers. So the farmers are dotted across the country. In all the 10 provinces of Zambia, there are farmers there. So we've even formed a WhatsApp group. Once they search on Facebook, once they search that name, they should be able to find, and then they should be able to get the contacts and where they should be able to get a seed. Why the seed distribution? Because it was for the main objective of making the seed accessible to the farmers. That's why all these farmers are dotted across the country in all the 10 provinces.
Ero tatuale kwata ama legumes na noifi anifi umukakata wale ya panshi ng'ombe shale onda nomba pantu turashisungira nangwiriri nenga mwasende fyani mwabika kona ya ififini fima legumes elo shadia shila bafesha ina na makafye bwino emkwa ino mukaka ulafula especially black velvet na sunhem kiine na kwata fya macross so sa tupera sana mukaka but mukaka stimu wadi yako pamulo from 15 liters to 20 liters.
Fodder preservation ensures that it is readily available in the dry season when pasture is scarce. Fodder is preserved as either silage or hay. Hay is grass or crop residues stored as fodder for livestock and is often given as supplementary feed when there is inadequate pasture. On the other hand, silage is fodder made from green foliage which is preserved through fermentation. The vegetative part of the selected crop is collected and chopped into smaller pieces and made into silage. E-sleep is promoting simple silage making options such as bagging and the pit method. E-sleep has given wooden hay balers and chaff cutters to its beneficiary farmers to promote fodder preservation and utilization.
When you're making silage, you first have to chop the pastures into smaller pieces. You can use a chaff cutter or you can use a machete where the pastures are chopped into smaller pieces. And then after that, you can add a sugar solution and then you mix it very well with the pastures. When you mix it very well, you can put the pastures in a silage bag and make sure that you tie it, you remove as much air out of the silage bag, because what we want is for the fermentation process to take place. So when you remove the air, you tie the silage bag as tightly as possible and then you leave it there for up to 3 weeks. And then your silage will be ready to be fed to animals. The other method also is the pit method, where you have to dig a hole in the ground, not so big, just as long as you have a very big ethylene plastic that you can use. Then after chopping your pastures up, you have to put them there, and then you can also add you can add some molasses to the chopped pieces of the forages, or alternatively you can add sugar solution to that. When that is done, you can cover the pit up with the plastic, and then after you have covered the pit with the plastic, you can put some soil on top, and then you leave it there for the fermentation process to take place. Then after 3 weeks or so, you can open it up. You have to make sure that when you're opening the pit up, you do not have to allow so much soil to go into there. After 3 weeks, your silage will be ready.
E-sleep has revamped 33 rangelands countrywide to improve animal nutrition. The rangelands have been oversown with perennial legumes. Community rangeland committees have been formed to enhance beneficiary ownership and management of grazing lands. The program has also facilitated the formation of community seed banks for sustained production of seed for grasses and legumes to be oversown in the rangelands. The concept of rangelands is to have managed grazing lands to avoid degradation associated with overgrazing.
We have been oversowing the rangelands with some perennial legumes. So these legumes will be have been established and will keep on growing for up to 4 to 5 years. And in addition to that, we have the rangeland committee members who are in place who will be managing the several different pastures that have been planted there. And then also in addition to that, we have nurseries that have been established in the rangelands. So the nurseries are meant to be seed seed multiplication banks so that each farming season the farmers can be able to harvest the seed from the nurseries, and then they are going to be oversowing them in the rangelands.
eSleep has facilitated the development of 2 stabilites or vaccines against East Coast fever, ECF. The first is the Chitongo stabilite, used to immunize cattle against the strain of ECF found in eastern, Lusaka, central and southern provinces. The most recent is the Isoka stabilite, which will be used to immunize cattle against the ECF strain found in northern and Muchinga provinces. The development of the Isoka stabilite is particularly exciting because for a long time, control of ECF in Muchinga and northern provinces has been through dipping and treatment, which are less effective as compared to immunization. Cattle farmers in the 2 provinces will now have their calves immunized against the disease using the Isoka stabilite, which will only be administered once to a calf. eSleep has also been procuring vaccines to control contagious bovine pleural pneumonia, CBPP, a transboundary livestock disease which is endemic in border areas. eSleep has further facilitated the formation of community CBPP task force committees to combat the illegal movement of animals in endemic areas. Committee members report any smuggled animal to the nearest veterinary office for corrective action.
Control of CBPP starts from the laboratory itself. So once the tests are strengthened, it means that we are able to diagnose the disease faster, efficiently, and effectively. So they've strengthened the diagnostic tests by providing materials for diagnosis like reagents, equipment, and also consumables. They've also capacitated the lab to produce its own antigen. Antigen is a reagent which they use for detecting the same disease. So that they've supported to produce that antigen. The other thing is eSleep provides or procures vaccines on behalf of government so that the animals in those areas which are affected with CBPP are vaccinated.
eSleep is promoting livestock rearing through its stocking and restocking program, which is implemented using the pass on the gift model. Animals such as dairy and beef cattle, goats and chickens are placed in a community or given to the first round of beneficiaries, who in turn are expected to give the first female offspring to the second round of beneficiaries, and so forth. The rationale is to motivate as many people as possible to start rearing livestock. eSleep has placed rabbits in communities where residents have limited space or land. Rabbits are prolific and multiply fast within a short period, enabling a beneficiary to earn income within months of receiving the animals.
Rabbits multiply very quickly, and then they are, as a result, a good money-making venture. Within a short period of time, you should have your rabbit kidling and then giving you young ones that you can market, or you also have surplus in a short period of time to improve your nutrition at home. So it's money making in livestock, and we looked at rabbits as one of the ventures. Second, they are very easy to keep, and there are also very few diseases that affect them. You're also looking at communities that are hard hit in terms of lack of protein at dietary level, those in communities in high density areas. And those communities don't have land. The land pressure there is very high. And rabbits are an intervention that we want to go in those areas because they can keep a lot of them in a very confined space.
E-SLIP's interventions are strategically designed to increase livestock numbers by addressing key challenges in the livestock sector, namely disease control and nutrition. Innovations such as drought-tolerant grass varieties, perennial legumes oversown in rangelands, forage preservation, and development of new vaccines will help to significantly improve animal health and nutrition.